It gives me great honor on this morning to introduce our speaker. Marilyn Mosby is the Democratic nominee for the position of Baltimore City State's Attorney, where she has received support from two-thirds of Baltimore City Council, including Representative Elijah Cummings and former Representative Kwesi Mfume, along with other business and civic leaders. A native of Boston, Massachusetts, Mosby attended Mother Tuskegee as a presidential scholar. She was also a first-generation college graduate, graduating magna cum laude with a Bachelor of Arts degree in political science. She went on to earn her doctorate, her Juris Doctorate, from Boston College Law School. She has been an avid public servant in her entire life, having clerked at several highly esteemed governmental agencies, including the U.S. Attorney's Office in both Boston and Washington, D.C., and the Homicide Unit of Suffolk County District Attorney's Office in Boston. In 2005, she selected to pursue justice rather than personal fortune with her decision to join the Baltimore City State Attorney's Office. From the start, her talents as a prosecutor were very clear when, after 5 months of service as an assistant state's attorney, she was promoted to supervisor of the Early Resolution Court. In this role, she managed and trained newly sworn prosecutors and support staff on courtroom decorum and docket management. By 2011, Mosby had advanced from district court to general trial division, where she prosecuted some of the most heinous felons in the state. Driven by her love for courtroom litigation and a desire to diversify her legal experience, Attorney Mosby left the Baltimore City State Attorney's Office and began working as a field counsel for Liberty Mutual Insurance. She's an active member in her profession and community, having served in the Black Law Students Association, the peer review committee of the Maryland Attorney Grievance Commission, 2012, the Judicial Nomination Committee for the Monumental Bar Association, the NAACP Baltimore Branch Criminal Justice Committee, the Baltimore City Environment Control Board, 2013, and the board advisor and treasurer for the Christian School of Dance. She is married to Councilman Nick Mosby and the proud mother of 2 daughters. She was selected because, indeed, she represents not only the best and brightest of Tuskegee's tradition, but she also represents the best and brightest of its trajectory. Please join me in welcoming Democratic nominee, Tuskegee University alumnus, Attorney Marilyn Mosby.
Good morning. T.U. T.U. To the esteemed President Brian Johnson, members of the Board of Trustees, the Chairman, faculty, alumni, students, the esteemed Mayor Johnny Ford, and former federal judge, Magistrate Judge Joyce London Alexander. I am so honored to be here. Not a single word I'll speak today will be an empty one. This moment, more than any other, has overwhelmed my senses with humility, pride, and vigor. I am a child of Tuskegee University, a product of the towering ideals it has etched into my consciousness. With that, I am and will forever be grateful, humbled, and deeply honored to have my words deemed worthy of this special occasion, an occasion to address my Tuskegee family. So, no, this is not simply a speech among speeches or a check-the-box moment as a new world is opening in the wake of my recent success. For me, this is a homecoming, a true-to-life tale of a Tuskegee-inspired dream realized and a return home to where the powerful vision for my future first took root. Taking complete advantage of the awesome power of now, an ideology shaped by and taught through the Tuskegee experience, on January 5th, 2015, I will be sworn in as a state's attorney for Baltimore City. At 34 years of age, I will be the youngest chief prosecutor in the country in one of America's most dangerous cities. When I decided to run for Baltimore City State's Attorney, I embarked on a journey that was not easy or rooted in an abundance of external support. I sat down with any and every politician, business owner, community, and clergy leader to ask for their guidance and support in this endeavor. To my dismay, an overwhelming majority of those discussions ended with optimism for my vision, but skepticism in my ability to carry out my vision. Most of these skeptics went as far as to even discourage me from running for the position in the first place. Whether their skepticism came from a place of love or hatred, I was told over and over again that now was not my time. I was told that my dream was impossible. I was told that I was too young, too inexperienced, that I couldn't raise enough money. My decision to run would not only interrupt but potentially destroy my husband's political career. For me to run against an incumbent with powerful backers who had the ability of raising close to $1 million. The skeptics wanted to know, how could I have the audacity? Now, I decided as a wife, a mother, raising 2 little girls in the heart of West Baltimore, a woman of faith and a former prosecutor with 6 years of experience and an overall 80% conviction rate, that I possessed the vision and the foresight to reform the criminal justice system. I decided that my desire to change the criminal justice system, a system that has historically and disproportionately affected so many communities of color, outweighed the force of their skepticism. I decided that I was going to pursue my purpose, leverage the awesome power of now, and run for Baltimore City State's Attorney. And much like the spirit of our forefather Booker T. Washington, when he proclaimed, "I have begun everything with the idea that I could succeed, and I have never had much patience for the multitudes of people who are always ready to explain why one cannot succeed." Unbeknownst to the skeptics, the depths of my conviction and passion to succeed was because of them. Looking at the plight of my community and the unparalleled destructive impact of the criminal justice system, I decided that I would not pass my grandparents' fight on to my children's children. From slavery to Jim Crow to the industrial prison complex, I decided that enough was enough, and that God had provided me with a purpose and wanted me to walk in that purpose. Throughout the journey of my campaign, I was reminded of Isaiah 41 verse 10. "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous hand." I walked in God's purpose for my life, and on June 24, 2014, I won the Democratic nomination for Baltimore City State's Attorney. In a surprising upset where I beat an incumbent that outraised me 4-1 by double-digit percentage points. You see, this was not the first time that my faith in my purpose was tested. I remember long, stressful nights in Tuskegee preparing for the LSAT, a test that would ultimately prove as another hurdle to my dream. And despite having a 3.85 GPA, I remembered being denied admission or waitlisted to law schools all across the country. Those memories are so real, but never allowing and refusing to allow any circumstance or situation to define my destiny. It was the advice of a fellow Tuskegee graduate, Kenneth Parker, who told me to think outside the box, call every law school and request an interview. Let them know that your LSAT score is not indicative of your potential. I did just that, and I got into my first choice law school. You see, those memories are real and vivid and sit on the tip of my mental cognizance because it's those memories that force me to never give up, never take no as the last answer, never allow my purpose to be subdued or defined by another person's vision of me. And we don't need to look far for an example of what the mind and the spirit of a man can accomplish, for we are in the midst of a truly compelling one. In 1881, our illustrious founder, Booker T. Washington, created Tuskegee Normal and Industrial Institute so that our forebears could rise up from slavery and turn their dreams of self-discovery and their drive for self-determination into reality. Booker T. Washington knew education's power to illuminate not only one's mind, but to liberate their spirits as well. He knew education was the key to overcoming ignorance and resurrecting the divine genius within black people. Were it not, those who brought us here and chained in shackles would not have fought so hard to deprive us of it. Booker T. Washington is not only an inspiration on account of his ability to impart inspiring ideals, but also for his courage. Few institutions of higher learning were built and existed in a more hostile environment towards notions of black empowerment than Tuskegee University. So I stand before you, the benefactor of his courage and his wisdom. I want you to know that I got to where I am today, not from my own doing, but because of the blood, sweat, tears, and sacrifices of those that came before me. I got to where I am today because Tuskegee University prepared me to navigate the obstacles of life. I got to where I am today because 16 years ago, when I left the confines of a single-parent household in Boston, Massachusetts, as an 18-year-old first-generation college student, and walked onto the beautiful and historic campus of Tuskegee University, wide-eyed and eager to make a mark, I didn't know it then, but the people that I met, the classes that I took, the places that I went, the professors that I learned from, and my overall experiences here at Tuskegee University not only shaped my consciousness, my confidence, my spirit, and my being, those experiences forever changed my life. Which is why the journey of coming home, full circle, is an awesome one to contemplate. Being back on campus and walking through the hallowed halls of Tompkins, along the cobblestone path at the Tuskegee Monument, takes me back to a beginning of sorts, a time of great promise. Having accomplished what others said could not be done, I fully appreciate that in the words of our founding father, success is to be measured not so much by the position that one has reached in life, as by the obstacles which he has overcome. You see, all too often in our communities, when we feel we've obtained a level of success, we want people to see where we are, and not necessarily how we got to where we are. Well, I come before you today, and I must tell you that I got to where I am because of Tuskegee University. It's where we are and how we got where we are. We must continue to pass those testimonies, that tried and tested journey onto the generations that are coming behind us. We must constantly remind ourselves that our success is the byproduct of fruits of someone else's labor. And true individual success is judged on not what we have obtained, but rather what we have done to put others in a position to obtain greater. This is what this institution has provided hundreds of thousands over the past 100 years, 133 years. The critical importance of Tuskegee in 1881 drives the same need for our illustrious institution in 2014. And it's up to us to ensure that that legacy and the ideals continue to last for another 133 years. You see, we are the extension of Booker T. Washington's vision, and we must continue to carry the torch in order to impact the injustices that so ever clearly present their strongholds on communities of color. According to the Bureau of Justice, 1 in 3 black men go to prison in their lifetime. According to the Prison Policy Initiative, nationwide, blacks are 6 times more likely to be incarcerated than whites. In 42 years since Bureau of Labor Statistics started tracking unemployment data by race, black unemployment has been on average 66% higher than whites. In a study of test scores of school-aged children between 1990 and 2007, our children trail white children by 28 points in academic performance. And as recently as 2009, 11 states with felony disenfranchisement policies effectively reduced their African American voting populations by more than 10%. The laws of changeless justice bind oppressor with oppressed. The words of our beloved Tuskegee forefather could not be truer as we watch Ferguson, Missouri streets filled with high-caliber machine guns, mine-resistant armored vehicles, tear gas, Molotov cocktails, and masked protesters beaming images of civil unrest in response to the killing of an unarmed African-American boy. It's been 78 days since Michael Brown was shot in the street by a police officer. It's been 101 days since Eric Garner was choked to death in New York by a police officer. And 54 days since the New York City medical examiner ruled that incident a homicide. Neither has resulted in an indictment. The awesome power of now, interjected with the Tuskegee, what Tuskegee has instilled in us, calls on us now. Whether in Baltimore, Birmingham, or Baton Rouge, we must take a national stand and intentionally redirect the trajectory of the next generation. It is up to us collectively to get to our children before they get to the criminal justice system. Through our collective embodiment of our common Tuskegee, it is up to us to force change. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once eloquently proclaimed our current call to action when he said, "We are now faced with the fact that tomorrow is today. We are confronted with the fierce urgency of now. It is in this unfolding conundrum of life and history, there is such a thing as being too late. This is no time for apathy and complacency. 2014 is no time for complacency. This is only a time for vigorous and positive action. Our time is now. The time to act, to get engaged in the political process, to become part of the solution to transforming the state of our communities begins with you. It begins today. We as a community have to get off the sidelines and get into the game of life, the game of progress. It starts today with each and every one of us recognizing, appreciating, and giving back to the institution that has provided each and every one of us with the foundation for greatness. You see, it was here at Tuskegee University that I met the love of my life. It was here at Tuskegee University that I cast my first vote and obtained my first email address. It was here at Tuskegee University that I lived through the horror of 9/11. It is here at Tuskegee that I watched the 2000 presidential vote scandal play out in the United States Supreme Court, thereafter appointing former President Bush. It was professors like Dr. Joe Jamais and Dr. Darrell Roberts and Dr. Willie Fluker that helped me put these monumental real-world events into context. These professors, among others, made us as students aware that we did not have to sit and watch the world go by. We, as the next generation and byproducts of the legacy of our forefathers, not only had the ability, but we had an obligation to stand up and be part of writing our country's history. Know, understand, and appreciate, in the words of Theodore Roosevelt, it is not the critic who counts, not the man who points how strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Tuskegee has prepared us all to act, to know victory in our respective spheres of influence. We are the children of Booker T. Washington. We do not know defeat, and our time to claim victory is now. Thank you for all that you have done for me, Tuskegee. and for the even greater things you will do for all the emerging leaders within the sound of my voice today. You are our shared foundation. May you forever remain steadfast and strong.
I don't think you understand what words of fire is, and if you don't understand what words of fire are, you have just experienced. Let's give this woman of Tuskegee University another round of applause. This woman is a part of the very best and the very brightest of a very grand and a very glorious tradition. Thank you, Mrs. Mosby. I just want to have her to come up here and speak to me every morning.